Well, thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Dorothy, and thank you, the Humanities Center, and thank you, everybody, for being here. And thanks especially to my daughter, Maria, who's also here, without whom this presentation would not be possible, because she put together beautifully my PowerPoint. Because being 19th century, I am going to be technologically handicapped, and she has been great for this. So I'm going to do something different from what I usually do. I'm not going to read for the first time, and I'm a little bit nervous about this, so I hope I stay within the 15 minutes. I'm going to pass this quick. I have?
I'll give you a 5 minutes.
5 minutes warning, okay. How do I pass the steps here, no? The arrows? Done.
I don't know.
How do I go next?
Is it this one? Yeah, right here. This guy.
Okay, okay. So the title of my presentation was Writing the Land, Ecofeminism into Spanish 19th century authors. And I think I should start defining ecofeminism, because it's a term that we start hearing around, ecofeminism, and just a brief history, because this is something I'm learning as well. This project develops from my studies of nation, the construction of nation, connection with gender, and one important aspect of the construction of nation is the construction of landscape. You know, so writing the land in two senses. People who are writing about the land, and also the inscription that we make upon the land, because we have a cultural vision of it. So it's a two ways process. So ecofeminism was a branch of ecology that developed in the 80s. Inés Traquín was one of the pioneers of this, and she defines it as the connectedness and wholeness of theory and practice, asserts the special strength and integrity of every living thing. It is the masculinist mentality which would deny us our right, our own bodies, and our own sexuality, and which depends on multiple systems of dominance and state power to have its way. So basically, what this branch, because it's kind of the extreme branch of ecofeminism, is saying that there is an equality, an equal sign between the exploitation of the land and exploitation of women. You know, they need to control the body of women through abortion laws, for example, and things like that, and the patriarchal exploitation of the land. And then Carol Merchant, also writing inside of the ecofeminist umbrella, develops this interesting theory, interesting especially for the kind of authors I'm going to be talking about, in an essay called The Death of Nature, also from 1980, where she says the female earth was central to the organic cosmology that was undermined by the scientific revolution and the rise of a market-oriented culture in early modern Europe. No? So basically she says that pre-17th century, pre-16th, 17th century, there was this concept of mother nature, no? As the earth, as land, as a living creature that was feminine. It could be positive, it could be negative, but it was a living creature. And after that is seen as from a scientific perspective as inert matter that you need to model, you need to make productive. So some questions to begin, no? Before going into the authors themselves. So what is to be won or to be lost from identifying land and woman? Because that's what King is doing. No? Nature is the same thing as woman. They're both equally exploited. And how do two women writers from the 19th century, when the cultural concept of landscape was created, and I'll go to this in a moment, deal with this equation? No? Are they happy with this? Do they think nature is the same thing as woman? Do they find anything productive about this? And what is a better approach to the issue? An essentialist one that sees the redemption of women linked to the redemption of nature because women belong to nature, or a relativist one that questions both what woman and nature mean and is suspicious about their identification? Because this can be problematic as well. If we make woman and nature exactly the same, and we have seen this, then you're basically giving the reason to people that say, well, then women don't belong to the sphere of culture, you know, they are part of nature. So it has many problems attached, you know. And then something that also would like to touch in this presentation is how can the artistic representation of landscape escape an anthropocentric point of view? Because landscape, although we may think, well, something that you just stand on top of a mountain and you see, there is the landscape, no? Well, no, not quite. No, it's a pretty modern concept. The idea of, oh, look at this beautiful landscape didn't start until pretty recently. So, as a matter of fact, it's not until the Renaissance and especially 17th century Anglo-Flemish painting that the notion of the artistic representation of landscape starts, with advances such as developments in optics, the invention of perspective that then gives you the possibility of representing a three-dimensional world, and especially the development of urban culture, because landscape is very much attached to the idea of nostalgia, you know, of that thing that you are missing. You know? So it develops in the city, not in nature itself. So some examples of pre-modern non-existence of landscape, you know, in medieval representations we have just a transcendent flat background. The actual world is not important. Or if it's represented, it's because it's symbolic. You know, every animal, every flower has an ulterior meaning. And we see the change in the Renaissance with a painting like the stone, where nature, the landscape, natural phenomena like the storm and the lightning become important, but as the background of the human story, which is still the most important thing. This starts to change in the 17th century in the north, as I said, with landscape becoming the predominant topic of the painting. And then in the 19th century, landscape develops as an autonomous genre itself. You know? There are materials and cultural reasons. The material one being the Industrial Revolution, what I was talking about before, the loss of landscape. You know? And Romanticism, because the concept of Volgeist, of the spirit of the people, starts being very important, you know, in the development of national identity. And this double determinism, you know, the medium makes the people. When the people lives, you know, is making the people as they are. You know, imagine Texas, you know, the landscape of Texas determines how the people in Texas are. And vice versa, the people construct the medium from their perceptive uniqueness. It's because we are from Texas that we see Texas the way we see Texas. No? It's a double line. So landscape is key in the forging of identity, the individual I, the projection of subjectivity in nature, and the collective I, you know, the spirit of the people. So some examples of landscaping art in the 19th century, William Turner, we see there is no remains of human presence, it's just pure nature, the light, the water, the soil. Some examples from Spain, and I bring this especially because it's the son of one of the authors I'm going to be discussing today. So we see the human presence is minimal, you know, in these paintings. So 19th century landscaping in Spain also develops, not as much as in other parts of Europe, because there is not a true industrial revolution, but from the main centers of Madrid and Barcelona, writers, painters are writing about the landscape, are painting the landscape, especially in connection with the development of regional and national identity. And I say regional because in the 19th century in Spain there is this blooming of regional identities, especially in the northwest, in Galicia, that's what I'm going to be focusing about, Catalonia, a little bit in the Basque Country, and also in the center, you know, in Castile. And all these regional identities are linked to a very strong idea of landscape, you know, of what is our land, how does it look like. So, since nations, and this would be a whole different presentations, are usually constructed by men, you know, and women have a very conflictive role in this, are they accepted, rejected? What happens when women ride the land? You know, I'm going to have two examples from that northwest region, from Galicia. Two women very different, Rosalía de Castro and Emilia Pardo Bazán. Rosalía de Castro, here she is. She was mainly a poet. She wrote novels as well, but she passed to posterity as a poet and as the mother of Galician cultural and linguistic renaissance. She wrote the first modern book in Galician language. Okay. And Emilia Pardo Bazán, who wrote novels in the realist style and in the Castilian language. So this is let's say the key of what I would like to develop in this research in progress that I'm doing. Can these authors be read under the light of ecofeminism? So in Pardo Bazán, especially in those very important novels that she places in Galicia, Los Pazos de Ulloa and Madre Naturaleza, Mother Nature, she sees nature as an all-powerful force identified as feminine, just like Merchant said. And men try to dominate, domesticate both nature and woman, like King said. But in La Madre Naturaleza, in Mother Nature, there is an aim to destabilize the men-created concept of nature. Nature appears to be neither mother nor a stepmother, but, and this is for me what is most interesting because this goes to the postmodern version of ecofeminism, a cultural construction onto which ideologies have projected. And then in the case of Rosalía de Castro, yes, we can also use some of the concepts of ecofeminism because posterity links her femininity with the image of a soft, gentle Galician landscape. But this can be also argued that it's a construction of patriarchy. Her poetry denounces the raping of the land, the cutting down of oak forests as the feminine trees, to replace them with pine trees that she sees as utilitarian, soldier-like, and masculine. But in her poetry, these are the buts against ecofeminism, there is a conflictive relation between feminine subject and nature. Nature does not like the feminine subject. There is this negative response to her. So she would belong to the, let's say, non-essentialist branch of ecofeminism. And I had some examples that I'm going to jump. You are going to have to believe me that she talks about this. This is a brief example of that nature doesn't like me. In this poem, Dicen que no hablan las plantas, they say that plants do not speak, where she's saying that people say plants and fountains and stars don't speak, but they do. When I walk by, they talk about me, they murmur at me, and they call me crazy. Because I think they speak. So it's a wonderful poem. And then in Mother Nature, we have, it's like a textbook case of ecofeminism. But the interesting thing is that all the textbook points are from the point of view of a man, of a male that arrives to this idyllic, wild, pre-modern natural setting in Galicia, but he's coming from Madrid. So he's coming from the modern world. So all his expressions are the typical modern merchant, modern view of nature as something to be exploited. So, for example, he sees the patriarchal domination of the land as something that is akin to the domestication of women. He's talking to his niece, to whom he's wooing. He's coming to Galicia to rescue his niece from this barbaric land and marry her and make her an honest woman. And he said, well, I know nothing about the countryside. The only thing I know is from the battlefield point of view. How to dig trenches, how to find a good point of view for cannons, etc. And then the girl is all excited about this bravery. And also women as fertile land to be properly exploited. He looks at the girl and says, oh, no, she's nervous. And I'm going to have to work so hard with her. I'm going to have to be father, teacher, even doctor, but at the same time, she's fertile land. She has good, rich, generous blood. There is good matter to work here. And then the question of land and woman. Because they say, I'm delighted with the land, and equally with women because they are one with the land. They are equally enchanting. Now, at the end of the novel, Mother Nature wins. The guy from Madrid doesn't get the girl. As a matter of fact, the girl commits incest with her half-brother in the middle of this beautiful natural setting. So Gabriel, the male protagonist, is furious and says to insist that nature has voices, and voices that say something mysterious and huge. Voices that have been talking for thousands and thousands of years, and to each one they are saying something different. I conclude that they do not say a darn thing, and we interpret them for our own benefit. So this is the disenchanted view that places nature again as something we just project our ideas about, but also something that we can manipulate. So we go again to that premise at the beginning, that paradox, how do we deal with this? Do we consider nature as something alive, something with a human characteristic, something like a woman, something inert? Because if we keep inscribing, writing upon the land in the way we have been doing the last year, these are some of the things that could happen. You know, for example, the horrible disasters in Galicia, the oil tanker in 2001 that destroyed the coast, or the constant fires every summer. Precarious life, one of the concepts of ecofeminism, may be something that we can take into account when we do our research. So thank you very much.